Well, I'm back in the chronological survey. This would be the 18th section of your notes. Who knows what page? Page 18 point something. I'm coming up through time. We're in the Middle Ages. And I gave a little bit of history of it, not very much, just a little bit. I'm not a history teacher. I call that history, or hist of PD, history of the period. Oh, and you can probably hear the rain. It's raining very hard outside the barn. The next thing I like to do with each of these various periods that we go through is try to describe them, characteristics of the period. What was that period like? Sometimes we feel that we can tell that people were different, or things were different during that period. I suppose otherwise we wouldn't separate them into periods. Well, HF, it's going to be henceforth, all year I've used that to announce an abbreviation. That's going to be CARE, characteristics of the period. Well, in the Middle Ages, Christendom was united. This was before the Protestant Reformation. It was united in Western Europe. Now, it had divided into the Eastern Orthodox Church and the Roman Catholic Church, but my orientation is going to be largely toward Western Europe as we come up through time. United under the Pope, and the Pope was more powerful than any given king. It was a very rigid time in that people didn't change. They didn't want change. They didn't expect change. Very unchanging. A person would expect to live in the same place and work the same way that their father or their grandfather or great-grandfather had lived and worked. People were not looking for change. They didn't really want change. They also thought they basically knew everything that there was to be known. In their little worlds, they probably knew those little worlds very, very well. They were not looking for new knowledge. All the plants, they knew them, and they even felt that they knew why God had made those plants. It was very strict and unchanging. Now, there was this code of chivalry. I already talked about courtly love in that Spanish connection, trying to explain where did these ideas come from. And they seem to have come up, come through the influence of the Arabic culture. But anyway, by the time we get to the Middle Ages, there's this complex code of chivalry. And in French, cheval is a horse. Chevalier is a knight, a horseman, a knight in armor. And there was this code about the way a knight should behave, the right behavior of a knight. It was very strict, very strict. In the climax of the movie, or in part of the movie The Cid, which I'd asked you to watch with Charlton Heston, they fight to the death. But they do it by rules, and each guy has to have a lady's color, and on it goes. It's very complex. Well, and I don't want to go back into that whole discussion of courtly love, not now, but chivalry, you should know about that. And what I used to do with my classes is I would show them the very end of a movie called Ivanhoe, the version made in 1952. It was trial by combat once again to the death, and very exciting, and the kids, they'd be going, it was pretty effective. But it was all done according to rules, like a football game. There was a referee there, and you couldn't break the rules, and the attitude toward the ladies. Now that book, Ivanhoe, Sir Walter Scott wrote Ivanhoe. I'll probably have more to say about that. I'll almost certainly have more to say about that book later on. It's been made into, I would say, 3 movies. It's not a realistic view of the Middle Ages. It's a romantic view of the Middle Ages. Sir Walter Scott was a romantic novelist from the Romantic period, and they look back on the Middle Ages through the eyes of a romantic, and I'll have more to say about that later. But I would recommend that if you could do it. Okay, one more video today.